Hey guys, Sunstrick Wars here. Welcome back to another Thursday live stream. Yes, as always, covering the hot topics on Transformers, Earth Wars, and today we've got an action-packed stream as always. Plenty to talk about today. So we're talking a bit about how to counter Beachcomber as well. So I know a lot of people are complaining currently, and I know we're going to talk a bit about the nerfs that could be coming and probably coming. We're talking a bit about that as well. But I know a lot of people are struggling against Beachcomber still in wars, and I'm sort of going to talk through something that might help you get it better in them wars, maybe deal with Beach a bit better. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about HQ19 and the balancing involved. Soldier put something in the content creators chat that sort of got me thinking really about balance and how the game isn't balanced. And I think that's a lot of the big key at the minute on how unbalanced the game actually is. So we're talking a bit about HQ19 and what I propose to the apes and what I would probably do if I was in charge of the game. We're going to rate every special in the game. We've already done aircraft, we've already done gunners, we've already done warriors. We might as well carry it on and finish it off with a special box. So that is going to be this week as well. We're also going to be taking a look at what the next batch of 5 stars might hold. Now I know the current batch has only just come out not long ago, but we're going to look a bit forwards because I know people have got, listen, I still got all these 5-star shards, what should I do with them? And some people are saying, go and spend them on ranks, and I'm going, no, don't spend them on ranks, save them for the next batch. But the big question is it worth saving for the next batch, or is it actually even maybe worth going after, I can't believe I'm saying this, actually going buying them ranks? That's a big question. So we're going to talk a bit about that as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we are going to talk about the nerfs that could be coming and talking about why and how I would do it if I was going to do it and what I proposed should happen. So all that and more. But as always, guys, if you've got any questions, stick it in the chat. The earlier the better before we get into the content, and I'll try and answer any questions that I can in the chat. So please stick them in the chat and I'll do my best. But as always, let's have a look who we've got in the chat today. So we've got Trex, who was first. Welcome. We've got E-Rod, we've got Blade19, we've got Stephen Gomez. Thank you all for being members as well, much appreciated. We've also got Andrew Stevenson. We've got Me47. Welcome back. I saw you last week. Good to see you back again. We've got Carnage Mac back in the chat as well. Good to see you, buddy. We've got Lou Mega as well. We've got Hellraiser, my buddy Darklands. Good to see you as well. Joseph Prime as always. We've got London's Calling. How's it going? We've got my buddy Cheeto. Great to see you in the stream, buddy. We've got Outspot Phil. We've got CV Lastra. We've got Candyman as always. Thank you for joining the stream. We've got Chris Harmon. We've got, who else have we got? Let's have a look. We've got Volcanicus69. How's it going? What's up? Who else have we got? And we've got Giga with the clutch right at the end. Welcome to the stream as well. Thank you for joining everyone. So just sort of catching up in the chat and a lot of talk about sort of Ruination Nurse. We are going to come to that and have a chat. And we're talking about the what maybe, the why. I think we know the why really. Implications, things like that. And what it sort of means. And maybe it isn't all bad. Maybe. But I understand some people's points. But like I said, we're going to be talking a bit about that anyway. But yeah, like I said, any questions, stick them in the chat, guys. Killsucker, welcome to the stream as well. Killsucker asked, I'm curious how the nerfing process works. Who decides what is nerfed and based on what reasons? I think a few reasons. I think one is complaints, obviously. I know it is very easy for a top player to go, oh, it's very easy to be countered and things like that. And I understand people are annoyed. And I said to Dale that I don't want to talk too much on it. I'm going to talk about later about it. But I think it's based on complaints mixed with usage ratage, I think, to back it up. So I'm not just going to go for complaint and go, oh, we're going to nerf this. I think look at complaint and go, oh, right, is it really that bad? I think they'll go and test it themselves. Run some numbers, and then I think they obviously look at the usage rates as well. And when you've got the usage rates through the roof where everyone is using them, and then you can see the damage for yourself and you're getting complaints, you can sort of take all three and go, yeah, I kind of get that. You know, I kind of see why people complain about it. But yeah. The Drax just put a Dave Luch argument is an oxymoron. If he's easy to counter, why is he in every outpost? And why do they defend not nerfing him and just move to another rather than just move to another not bot? Well, kind of got a point, yeah. Let's have a look. Luminega's put I have enough to pull weapons, but this through with that I'll be really annoyed. I may quit. 7,500 price in a free to play budget it is. Volcanic support that people cry about a bot or a combiner being OP and they nerf it. To be fair, I will back them up with this. That it's very rare they nerf something. They do fix a lot of things. Now, some things come across them as a nerf. Even that the top shot thing, that's debatable. Because for me, it was doing what the tooltip said. But they said it should never have done that. But my argument was it's always done that. So, obviously, only really we know what it should be doing, what it is doing, and only they know what it should be doing because they designed it. Doesn't mean that it shouldn't stay that way though. That's frustration sometimes. That I even said in the chat today, and I got a few thumbs up in my comment, which always shows that people support it. And I just said the problem is that the apes balance something. We or the play testers say this is not good enough, and then what normally happens is the apes or the Yodos will come in and just say, well, we disagree. We've ran some numbers, we looked at the numbers, whatever, we've looked at the spreadsheet, and we think it's okay. But my problem is that if they're looking at a spreadsheet and the spreadsheet is telling them something is good when it's not, then the spreadsheet's kind of wrong, really. That's kind of frustrating. And so I just think they need to trust the playtest a bit more. Really. If I'm honest with you, and balance the game a bit better. And that's where the balance comes in. Because Leo Prime was in test, we were balancing him, and I think the general consensus was he was not good enough and he needed improving. And he was pretty awful. But then it was a bit. I never liked fire damage because it was very, very inconsistent. So when it was doing whatever damage it was doing, I didn't run the numbers really. I'm honest with you, because you run numbers on fire damage, you go, oh, it's not doing what it should, and they come back, well, oh, actually it is because of blah blah blah, and then you're like, oh right, okay. So didn't really run the numbers as such. Didn't really like him. Said he did all right damage, good range. But then the apes. So this is what my problem is. The apes looked at it and said, "Oh, actually, it's doing less than what the tooltip should be." And so then they started messing with it. And rather than changing the tooltip, they just changed the damage. And you're like, well, no. Rather than just jumping the gun and jumping in, then surely you should be sort of asking the community. But in terms of the buffs and the nerfs, there is a link which we're going to look at in a minute in the community newsletter, and it asks you what bots they want to buff basically, which we're going to do. We're going to let you do that in the newsletter and go through it, and I'll tell you my reasons for which bots I want buffing. So yeah, plenty to go through. Giga's put, is it worth getting 5-star Omega Supreme? I'd wait. There might be a buff coming to Omega Supreme. Well, I think there is. I'm pretty sure there is. In fact, there is. So yeah, there's a buff coming, but we don't know how good it's going to be yet. So I would wait until after that has been completed, and then I would save your shards. And then if you're happy with it, then I would go and do that. I wouldn't suggest going buying Omega Supreme now on the hope it's going to be good, and then maybe it's not, and then you're kind of stuck with it. So I always say, listen, if you don't need it, then save it. If you're not desperate for using 5-star shards, save them. But if you're a mid-level player, don't save resources, guys. Honestly, go and use them. Nothing worse for me than seeing a mid-level player saying, yeah, I'm saving my 4-star crystals. I've got 20,000 saved up. And I'm like, well, have you got all the 4 stars? No. What are you doing? Go and pull them 4 stars. Go and get some dupes. If you haven't got all the 4 stars, you definitely haven't got all the 5 stars. Then go and pull them 5 stars. I understand some people might have a few 5 stars left to pull and not really desirable ones. I kind of get that. But if you haven't got every 4-star bot and the majority of good 5 stars, then I suggest go and pull them, guys. Don't save your resources. People look at top players sometimes. They're at the end game that don't need any cores, don't need any bots, I don't need anything really that's worth it in crystals. Don't need spark, and then people try and copy that because they see the higher players doing it, but there's a reason they're doing it. They're just not doing it for the sake of it. But they've obviously gone past that mid-level place and at a higher tier now, so that's why they're saving the materials. Play 19, but when you balance something, release it, it shouldn't be touched. I kind of disagree, if I'm honest with you. And Dale sort of said this. I was touched on this earlier. He sort of said that, you know, the other games do it, but my argument is that the bots cost a lot more, are harder to obtain, and cost a lot more to level. I think in this game it's more of an investment, and that's why. If things were easier to obtain and get, I don't think people would be too fussed in nerfs and buffs. I don't think they'd be too concerned. But yeah. Yeah, there's not going to be a cost reduction for Omega Supreme. No. Don't think there is, Kieran. Overlord or Omega, no. There won't be a cost reduction, but he should be getting a buff soon to make him better. Dark Answers bought my space bridges over 8k items at the minute. Yeah, but you're a top level player. So that's fine. There's literally, I'm pretty sure you've got every single 5-star bot in the game. So you don't need it. So I kind of get that point. Same for me. I'm waiting for new calls, waiting for new content so I can pull them and get that new content as soon as it comes out. When it comes out, if it comes out. But yeah, not if you're a mid-level player. MD Prime, thanks for joining. He's just put his rest days are now Thursday and Friday from work so he can join the streams again. Good to see you, buddy. Karma's put none of the 8s play the game anymore. I think that's a big point as well. You know, back in the day, Yanis used to play a decent level. Even I think Dale had a higher level account that he sort of got up there or something and was playing the game better. I think he still does, Dale, to be fair. But I don't think Yanis does anyway. He was quite a top level. We actually found out who he was, funny enough. And then, but then he's sort of gone down the rankings a bit. So yeah. Also, first, but I trust the 8's data as much as I trust a hyena to babysit my toddler. I've got to agree. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say what, but something happened, and even when it happened, I was like, "Is that right though? Is that right? Is it not right?" And I had to hit Dale up. I was like, "Is this right?" And he's like, "No, you are right." I was like, "Oh right." I thought it might just be a bug. I thought it was just a bug, honestly, and I was like, it could have been a bug for all I know. Because you just don't know sometimes. Anything else? Have a look. Souls, you're in the chat. Speak of the devil. So yeah, I was just talking about our chat today in the content creators chat. I'm gonna talk a bit about it. I love how Cuddy Fox has put Taz needs a redo, so he's only a year old. He's had a redo and he's still not great. Cheetah needs a redo too, probably. I don't know. The game's just progressed so much. Crotos put, I don't mind them nerf Leo, but I think he needs to maintain his spot as best bot in the game. He does 20k damage, which is overkill. Move the overkill, reduce his range. But does that mean then make him not the best bot in the game? Maybe. That's the big question. But we're going to talk again about that later on, like I said. But yeah. Killsuckers put, if HU19 comes out and with new Titan perks, is the question if 20k damage is enough when fire BBs are used. It's not the case of that. It's the case of that if one bot does 20k and everyone else does 10k, then that's not balanced, is it really? And you can't balance HU19 around one bot who does 20k when everyone else does 10, because then you just balance it around one bot, which isn't good balance. But again, we'll talk about it later. Okay, cool. Let's go into the newsletter, then we can crack on. But again, any questions, stick them in the chat, guys. So, bar week grind, our week ninny bong. Another week goes, another event, and this week is an individual totalizer event. 50,000 points, and it is mayhem mode. I had to actually look throughout the newsletter quite carefully, and it is there. You can see there. Mayhem. So I do think it needs to make that a bit more clearer. Rather than having us sort of scour. But yeah, just call it a week mayhem event or something. I don't know. But make it a bit more prominent, I think. But yeah, 50,000 in Mayhem is doable, free to play. I have got a video out there on how to do that quite easily. I've even got a video on how you can get very close to it, free to play, very close to it. People have also told me that they have done it free to play, completely free to play, without anything at all. So it does mean no sleep, pretty much, or broken sleep, but it is possible, guys, to get 50k if you really, really, really hit it hard and really regimented. It is probably possible, just about. And at the very least, maybe $5 or $10. I think you can definitely get it for $10. So not the end of the world, but obviously Raiden looking like a decent combiner. These are the last 2 parts. If you've got the other 4 parts, and this should complete 4-star Raiden or Dino King for you. So decent rewards. You see there, we've got some crems, got some 3 stars, 4 stars, 5-star shards. Never gonna turn down some 5-star shards, 1,500, some ore, combiner spark, battle boosters. So yeah, some decent rewards, 50k, and I like it. It's alright, it's a good event. I'll be taking part this weekend doing 50k. Usual battle zones apply, but obviously that is without Mayhem. They could do with updating that as well. And then game updates and information. Survey on the bus. We'll come back to that in a minute. We'll complete the survey. Then we've got Armada Wheeljack. So I had a few guesses on who I thought it would be. Completely wrong. But I think that Armada Wheeljack will not be a healer. I think. I'm just guessing. Just because of the things in his hand. And because when you refer him to Scavenger as well, I just think they'll be actual bots rather than healers. So interesting to see them. Not a big Armada fan myself, but hey, still 2 good bots. I still like the design. Really cool. Cool designs, yep, I'll give them that. And then we're in week 6 of the saga. Obviously, the Raiden Dino King event. We've got an Easter event next week, which should be nice and chilled. Some good rewards. I really hope they do the egg thing again. That was really good, where you can sort of get eggs and trade them in. They're in different places. I think they should hide some as well in other places in the game somewhere. I don't know. I just think I like other games that hide them in places as well. Like if you do a raid battle or something, you get an egg. If you do a battle in zone 15, you get an egg. There's a lot of things like that in other games that you do where they're sort of hidden somewhere, and everyone's sort of like chips in going, oh, I found an egg, it's here. So like an Easter egg hunt. But yeah, I liked the event last year, the Easter event. I hope it's the same again. It was really good, it was cool, something different. Again, I like something a bit different, something that's not mundane and seeing what we've always had. Think outside the box a bit. I like it. And then we've also got the new box, End of the Saga. No news on the new box yet. Obviously, only 2 weeks to go. So we were promised that these things would be out earlier. They seem to be getting that way. Now they're not. Empty promises, maybe. Maybe. Who knows? But we do seem to be, going back into our old ways again. Of, these bots coming in late, going out quick, not being complete, sadly. So we'll have to wait and see. And go and check out your content creators. Obviously myself, Freezus Max, and Soldier. Freezus Max will be streaming straight after me, so you can watch my stream and go straight there. So check that out, guys. Community Corner, couple of a draw in there. Sorry, not a couple. A draw in there. I was about to say, is that Springer? Don't know, maybe. Staff picks. So this week is Chris. I'm pretty sure Chris was with the team before. I'm sure Stevie's seen his name about. And he's gone with the cliche Optimus Prime as his favourite. But the only thing that was annoying was he said that I don't like this saying. I really don't. As per his own belief, freedom is a right. So obviously that comes from the Bay Farmers. Freedom is a right of all beings. I'm pretty sure he didn't say that in the cartoon. Did he say it in the comics? Let me know in the chat. But I don't like the saying. It's not an Optimus Prime saying for me. If he didn't say roll out, then I don't know. Try to think of the sayings off the top of my head. But the G1 sayings. And then the team streams obviously on the 17th of April next week. So go and check that out. We'll have plenty of information from that. Hoping there's a bit more in there. About all the things going on behind the scenes, but yet to be determined. So let's have a look at this. I've not opened this server yet. Let's have a look at it. Let's see. So please, ×1 bots you'd like to see. Buffs. After Breaker and Flame War. No. Air Raid. No. Alpha Bravo needs a bit of a buff. Alpha Trion does need a buff. RC needs a buff. Aero needs a buff. Jazz needs a buff. Beachcomber, no. Blades is alright. Blaster so-so. Blue Streak doesn't need a buff. Blur so-so. Brainstorm so-so. Braum, nah, probably needs a buff. Broadside, don't know, it's kind of broken a bit. Bulkhead, no, it's fine. Bumblebee, no, it's fine. Beast Wars Ironhide's pretty much fine. Needs a 5-star version. Beast Wars Prowl, probably needs a buff. Needs a 5-star version. Beast Wars Silverbow, needs a 5-star version. I'm looking forward to that. Can't wait. Cheeto needs a buff. Chromia needs a buff. Cliff Jumper needs sorting out. God, Cosmos and Mind White, they're alright. Cybertron Jetfire probably needs a buff. Dinobot probably needs some kind of buff. Double Deal needs a buff. Drifter's alright. Dust Up. Dust Up. Dust Up. Elite to Wands, alright. Firefly and Blast Off. Probably needs a bit of a buff. Maybe it was alright. First Aid needs a buff. No needs a buff. Goldfire needs a buff. Grapple, nah. It's alright. Grimlock, alright. Hoist is good. Hot Rod's good. Hotspot needs a buff. Hound needs a buff. Hound Vamp, don't know what you could do with that. Huffer, meh, he's alright. Impactor, meh, he's alright. Inferno's alright. Ironhide's alright. Jetfire's alright. Jetfire Sky Striker is what he is. Jumpstream's alright. Cup's alright. Laser Optimus is alright. Leo Prime. Lightspeed's alright. Metal Hulk's alright. Minerva's good. Mirage needs a buff. Nose Cone's alright. Optimus is fine. Optimus Primal, wow, needs a buff, but I'm going to choose one. Optimus Prime is alright. Orion Pax, shocking. Perception Bombshell needs a buff. Pipes is alright. Power Glide is getting reworked. Prowl and Brawl are what they are, really, I think. Probably could do a buff, but they're all content. Punch and Counter Push need a buff. Paramagna's alright. Ratchet's alright. Red Alert's alright. Rhinox alright. Robuster alright. Runner's Prime, shocking. Rook and Block, Rotorstorm, Rust Dust, all alright. Sandstorm fine. Scatter Shot's alright, I suppose. Sea Spray's alright. Smack's alright. SG Goldbug is shocking. SG Jetfire's alright. Sideswipe's alright. Silverbolt's alright. Cisco alright. Skid's alright. Skylinks, we tried. We sort of tried, but nothing much you can do. He's alright. We tried buffing him, but no, don't bother again. Skyburst, pretty crap. Skydev's alright. Slash is alright. Slingshot's alright. Sludge is what he is. Slug's alright. Smokescreen's alright. Snapdragon needs a buff. Snarl desperately needs a buff. Springer's alright. Star Saber's alright. Stormclash alright. Strafe, meh, is what he is. Streetwise, waiting for a 5-star version. Sunstreaker needs a buff. Super alright. Tasmanian Kid, shocking. Tiger Hawk needs a buff. Topspin's alright. Trax are very good. Trax. Trailbreaker's good. Twin Twist good. Ultra Magnus is getting a rework. Vector Prime, pretty crap. Warpath is good. Wheeljack is good. Whirl and Sea Phantom are alright. Windblade, yeah, so. So yeah, I'm gonna put Dust Up. If I'm only choosing one. Only choose one. Yeah, only choose one. Dust Up and Vortex, without a doubt. Worst bots in the game for me. Absolutely awful. But part of me wants to put D16 and Orion Pax. Just because it's been recently made and it's still shocking. And it shouldn't be for how new the content is. But hey, please explain why you need a buff. The damage is shocking. There we go. Oh, please choose one combat. Oh, I'm spoilt for choice. Oh, God, let's have a look. Who? Oh, God, Trench Foot. Oh, no, hang on. There he is. Dial Overkill. Worst combat ever. Period. Ever. Worst combat ever, period, ever. There you go. Done. Go and have a go, guys. Go and do it. Go and do the balancing. Go and vote. Don't vote what I vote for. Go and vote for what you want. Candyman's put Ravage. No, Dial's worse. Dial's worse. Dial and Overkill are worse than Ravage. Dial is better than Dazzle Strike. No, he's not. No, he's not. Dazzle Strike's actually pretty good. Dazzle Strike's alright. Honestly. Go and stick Dazzle Strike on Optus Prime. If you do any rushes. That's just pretty good. Nah. Dazzle Strike is not the worst one. Nah. You know what says it all? This says it all. This says it all. This, you'll see. Aaron De Jesus, Hidalgo Gamboa, that's a long name, but welcome to the stream. Let's put me. Oh no, he's just typing random stuff. I thought he was typing me, but he's not, he's just typing random things. Croto voted for Hotspot. Yeah. So watch this. This is my live account. Live account. Not a test account, my live account. So where is it? Where's the lab gone? There it is. Enter the lab. Combats. So this is only combats. Level 1. Level 1. Not touched. So we'll look here. So have a look at these. So look, that's right, level 6. So it's alright, you know, level 6. I haven't done Kunai because I've got him as 5-star. Shocking. Got 5-star. Shocking. Road Burner, Sawtooth, Dial. Shocking. And that is only because of one of the first combats I got like, very early on. And I leveled it as a 4-star and now I regret it. Worst investment ever, period. Ever, period. Shocking. Shocking. Dial. For the win. That answers put really any companion sucks. Yeah. What? We can't see you. Oh, because I'm not sharing the screen. Oh, I've moved it over, but it's not showing it. It won't show it. Oh, well, never mind. But yeah, my dial's level 1 on live count. He's shocking. That was a waste of time loading that, wasn't it? Goody Fox Spot, I'm trying to stay away from the new combat batch until it's separated. It's done, isn't it? Thought it'd been done. Has it been done? I think it's been done. Has it been done? I think it's been done. Yeah, it's been done. Yeah. Oh no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't. No. To be fair, you know what? I just pulled SP to the Prime because I was like, oh yeah, it's the last one to finish a batch off. I didn't even realise I've not got Victory Leo. So I'm glad I pulled him. I've been a bit fuming and I pulled him as a guaranteed pull and then pull Victory Leo. I'd be pretty... Yeah, Blaze Put is separated, but it's not, is it? It's not separated though, is it? Oh, is that on test? Oh, it might be on test then, that's why. Okay. Maybe it is separated then. Sorry. Have I got 5-star Leon on live? I thought I had, but maybe I haven't. Who knows? Gito, I have 16 combats at level 11. You madman. But Overkill wouldn't be decent at level 50. Yeah. I agree. Well, I don't know, at level 50 maybe. That covered another bot on it, wouldn't it? Yeah, cool. Right, let's go into the game. Let's have a chat about some stuff. Go drink some of my brew first because oh, I just realised something. There we go. No. There we go. That's better, isn't it? No, I don't have a survey on my combats. I had the survey on that screen. I got 3 screens now. I've got my OBS on that screen. I've got my game on that screen. And I've got my other content I need to show on screen on that screen. So what I've done was I thought I was showing this screen, but I wasn't. I was showing that screen. That's what I was Protoss put any 5-star Computron updates? No, on the back burner. Everything's on the back burner. We got to remember, we were promised Power Glide last November. We started looking at it. Only just got into test now. Well, not even test yet. Only just decided to talk about it again now. Ultra Magnus was promised last November. Only just sort of started speaking about him. Like early discussions. We got Computron. Didn't work. That was last December. Not even come back to test yet. So a lot of things not in test. Luminates put wish on rebalance they could get them all right for war and let the users choose what to use based on defenses. That'd be my dream. That'd be my dream. But I don't think so. Jesus put back burner should be a new combat. I ain't got a clue that is. But I will take your word for it, brother. Back burner it is. I'll cheer you on. Not got a clue who he is, honestly. Cool. Alright, okay, so I'll talk a bit about HU19 when it comes out, and for me, a big part of this game that's really struggled to be balanced, probably the most unbalanced part of the game, is the HQ balance between the higher zones and lower zones, and the higher leagues and lower leagues. So for me, it's always been frustrating seeing maxed out HQs in Gold League, and they've tried to balance that by reducing the stats of all the defenses in those leagues to make it a bit easier for people. But for me, what I've never understood is that I've played Clash of Clans before I played Earth Wars. Not at a high level, but I have played it. And if you were Town Hall 12, 13, chances are you could, with the bots, with the sort of bots and the resources you have, you could probably take out a Town Hall 12 or 13. That was sort of your range. If you tried taking on a 14 or 15, you weren't able to. And so the frustration is that you can max out your HQ free to play as long as you've got enough time. But then bots take a lot longer than defenses do. I know the defenses take quite a while, but bots actually take a lot longer to get a whole war team together. And because of meta changes, you have to bring bots in, and people just don't have the resources to get them up quite high. So you've got one of two problems. Either bots are not easy to level enough, or bases are too easy to level. So if bases are too easy to level, if you can level up to HQ 18 maxed, but can't take out max HQ, for me that makes no sense, because if you're at that level, you should be able to take out a max HQ. And I'm not saying in Gold League or a lower league, Bronze League. I'm talking in Cybertron, as it is, as it should be. If you are maxed out HQ, you should have a team to reflect that can take out a max HQ. Now, we all know that's not the case. I'm not going to sit here and say lower players should be able to take out max HQs, because we know it's a lot harder to level bots than it is to get through defenses. You can get through a max HQ with, decent cores, free to play, as long as you have time. Whereas it's going to be very, 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 very difficult to get a maxed out team of 8 bots with the G metals or with prime cores free to play. Not in any sort of decent time frame anyway. And then when you do, you have to swap bots in or out, where you don't have to swap defenses as much. And so the big question is, how do we approach this for HU19? How do we make it more balanced? Now, we've got a few options, and I don't think any of them are good options, if I'm honest. But we do need to look at it and do need to think about it. So, do we bring out HU19 and make it exclusive for players, say, over level 95? That way, only top players can progress to HU19. Now, that does stunt the growth of lower players, granted, which is not very good. It means that there's content that's not being inclusive to other players. So I don't think that's an option they can maybe take, if I'm honest. So the next question is, do we make making leveling bots easier? So I'm sure a lot of players will enjoy that, but then you got to think that if we make it so that bots are really easy to level, that affects the economy and the monetary income that the Yodos make. So I don't think that's an option either. So for me, the best option is that I don't think HQ19 is the worry. The worry is people maxing out HQ19 and it being as difficult as a maxed out HQ. Now designs do matter, granted, but what I believe they could do is start churning cores out a bit faster, defense cores. And in the last HQ release, they brought it out in stages, but it meant that everyone was leveling at pretty much the same level. Whereas once they brought HQ19 out and sort of balanced it so people can do well against HQ19, if they start churning out cores at a decent rate, I think it'll create income for them. I think it'll create a need for people to open crystals. I know everyone is hoarding crystals. I think it'll create a meta change quite often that lower players won't be able to catch up with or keep up with, but higher players will. But that will mean that there will be lower level HQ19s more and higher level HQ19s. And I'm sure there's people that don't like what they're hearing there, that they can't sort of keep their bases maxed. But there needs to be some balance, because right now there are players in Gold League, Caminus, even lower, that are trying to get into the game, that are trying to get into wars. And it's frustrating when you come up against a HQ18 as a HQ16, say, and they've got a Titan and they're maxed out, and you literally have zero chance of beating them. And there is no solution for keeping HQ18s out of lower leagues. And you can say, oh, well, debuff them, decrease the HP and things like that of the outpost spots, things like that. But even with Titans, it's not going to work. Even if they reduce the HP of Titans and the DPS of Titans in lower leagues, even if they do that, you've got an extra Titan on the field that they wouldn't have. So sadly, it won't work. So I feel like the only way is to create more meta shifts for bases, more cores more often. And I feel it'll solve a lot more issues. Like I said, around making money. They always like to make money. But especially opening crystals. If they brought out 5 cores tomorrow, I could pull a section of my crystals and still have a lot of it left over. They need something that's going to make people open crystals again and make people open their 4-star shards and their 3-star shards and their Prem shards. And I think that's an easy solution to separate the higher leagues from the lower leagues, the higher HQ19s from the lower HQ19s, and also give people a bit of a purpose with crystals. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Have you thought of any solutions for HQ19? How they're going to balance it so lower players aren't getting frustrated? Newer players coming into the game, not being able to progress and do well in wars. Is that why we're seeing such a low participation rate in wars? Let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. So let's have a look at some of the comments. Track support bots aren't easy enough to level. I know, but if they make them easier to level, I think that I said in the chat that 1 to 51 needs to be made easier. I think that for newer players, and that's the only reason is for newer players there, because I don't know about it to me really that much, but definitely for newer players. But after that, I think it's right. I think the balance is right. I do. Downlands has put they already do that for HQ17. What do you mean? What do you mean? Cheetos put bots won't be easy to level after the ruin nerf. It's easy now though. Well, we'll talk about it later. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not all doom and gloom. Krotos put, from what I've seen at lower war leagues, Titan had the biggest issue. They need to nerf the Titan into oblivion with the war effects. The problem is though, if you're buying a Titan or chasing a Titan or anything like that, and you go and purchase a Titan, then you want to use it. You want to have a use out of it. What's the point in buying it if it's not going to do anything? So You've got to think of that as well. So we talk about, oh, I've spent this on this bot. It's not fair. You're nerfing it. Granted, I understand that and mostly agree with it. But we're then on the other hand of it saying we should do that with Titans and agreeing with it. And we've got to have some sort of like agreement there that you can't do. You can't look at one end of the scale through tinted glasses and go like, oh well, that's fair, but for the other players they should do that. We're nerfing their content. It's not really fair, is it? So maybe that's not an option. I don't know. Yeah, down to put your season with auto count. Yeah. Um. Steve Pierce put simple solution: disable Titans in silver, maybe gold and below the wars. Again, back to that. What's the point in buying a Titan then? Tractor Spot is level it on my con account. I have a backdoor team. Oh, and Blue Streak stuck at level 60. Since my HQ is stuck at 16. Takes a lot to get to 75. I don't know. Not really. Well, it doesn't depend if you spend or not. Let's be honest. And if you're leveling a lot of bots, if you're just leveling a war team and very rigid on leveling certain bots, then yeah. James McDonald's put, what's the point of nerf in some of these bots and combiners when they're bringing out HU19 in a few months? That I don't understand. I kind of agree with that. I'm not going to lie. I have said that. I said to Dale, I said, why do not balance everything just around HU19? And we were talking in playtest about certain bots and saying it could do with being improved because of HU19. And we just got shot down and was like, no, we're not balancing for HU19. We're balancing for HQ18. And as Dale said, I don't see the point in putting all this work into balancing bots for HU18 to then visit them again in HU19. You get to keep visiting them. But that's the way they want to do it. So, nah. But I do agree though, when HU19 comes out, HQ16 and 17 should be made easier. I do agree with that. Yeah, Lumegas hit the nail on the head. It's a tough task to please all the skill levels. True. Very true. Yeah, Trax just put you shouldn't get a Titan unlocked till HQ17. No, but I kind of imagine if you can get a combiner to HQ18, say, let's just say for argument's sake. I always try and spin it a bit to sort of like show a sort of perception in some way. And if you invest in a Titan or a combiner or whatever it is, you want to use it no matter what level you're at. And I get that not having them at super low levels because you got to get in the game and get a Titan. I kind of get that, but if you leave it to massive like end game content, it's a money spinner. Let's be honest, it is. People want a Titan, so I kind of get it. And take it away from wars, and you kind of go, well, what's the point in having a Titan then? So, but I did say this. Just gonna say this. I said all along, before Titans came out, I said Titans are going to be the hardest thing to balance. I said, how can you have something that big not take out half a base on its own? And if it does do that, it's massively overpowered. And if it doesn't do that, it's a waste of time. And it's going to be very hard to get it in the middle. I literally said that before Titans came out, so wasn't there, was I? Yeah, but Steve Pierce has put they block Titans in every other aspect of the game outside wars and PvP. Yeah, but that's even more reason because they're very limited as they are. They're only limited to PvP and wars. I think is that it. So they take them out of wars as well. Then what's the point in having one? Krotos put well, nerf the defense Titan, not the FS Titan, so you can still use it. Interesting. I'm trying to think of a reason that wouldn't work. It does to make wars easier. Is that a bad thing? I don't think it is for lower leagues. For higher leagues, I'd say no. If I've invested a Titan and mine's maxed out and theirs is not, I'm not having mine lose to them but that's in higher leagues. But in lower leagues, that's not a bad idea, maybe, you know. I'm trying to think of anything bad about that idea, and I can't think of anything right now. Leave it with me. Leave it with me. I'll have a think about that one. Killsock, good night, buddy. Thanks for joining. James McDonald, you are welcome. Trash Penlanka support. I've got a 3-star Nemesis I got last year. I can't even use it yet. Hope it's still there. Wow. Neil Solo's put maybe just balance overall offense against defense. The game is offense heavy. I'd probably say so. Personally, I just don't think it's balanced very well. The whole thing, everything. I think walls are underutilized. I think there's too much focus on the cluster. Build bots aren't effective enough. So I think there's a lot to be said about the balance. Darton support fixed Big Daddy ground from dropping in deployment zone. Yeah, well, I said this to Dale, and Dale was like, I don't know what the fix would be. I said, well, you have people that drop Silverbolt, fly him across the map, and then drop sidetrack and pop an outpost halfway across the map. That's not as it was intended. That's not as designed. Then you have, obviously, Swoop can have an outpost and the delay. I'm like, why not make it so that as soon as you drop your bot, the combat is dropped. Done. Deploy bot, deploy combat, like that. And it just says everything. Also, what Phil's put, I spend entirely too much time in battle clicking on and off my Titan ability, waiting for him to unfreeze so I can use his ability. I wish they'd never made Titans. Interesting theory. I was asked by Dale what's the worst thing that came to the game, and I said Titan Tech Tree. Second to that, Titans. I did say that. I love Titans. I think they're brilliant as in a spectacle. But when it comes to game balance, I think they're absolutely awful. And just what you put there, exactly the same. I just think they're a distraction in war, sadly. Kroto, you are welcome, buddy. Good idea. This is why we do this, you see. Hellraiser has put all 3 Titans should be run through PT at the same time balance. I said this as well, but it's not going to happen. They can release however they like, but testing one at a time without being able to bounce another 5-star Titan will cause issues. Yep, 100%. 100% it will. What I've played 19, but what I think is if you're a HU18, you should not be allowed to drop below Gold League. Interesting. But even at Gold League, that's still too low, isn't it, really? Interesting, though. But how... Okay, so... If you are... How does this work, then? I always try and find holes in these ideas and see how it works. So, how would this work? Put it in the chat. So, you are in a... Caminus? Or Platinum. Platinum, is it? Platinum Alliance. And... Which you're allowed by your rules there. And you're HU18. You lose a couple of wars and you go down to Gold League. What happens then? Are you not allowed to participate? Do you get kicked out of the alliance? What happens then? You know? Joseph Trillo, welcome to the stream. At the moment, Fort Max is the only Titan that can beat 5-star score. Surely Ark can it? I think. Don't know. 5-star score. Oh, right, you mean from the Titan Assault, you mean? Yeah, interesting. That would balance though. Don't go off that. Don't go off that at all. Okay, next up. So, I know a lot of people have mentioned struggling against Beachcomber, and I did a video not too long ago showing how you can use Cosmos to hack him. And I got a few comments back saying, that's all well and good, was it, but the targeting is awful. It's hard to use. Cosmos is not really a meta bot. You can use Blaze, but it doesn't hack for as long. Doesn't work really effective. So a lot of people sort of threw a few ideas around, but one of the ideas that I saw was quite a clever idea, and I've tried it out in wars. Now, it's inconclusive, but I'll explain why, and I'll show you the system. So I'm going to do a little test. So I've got 4 bots here. So I've got Rook as my tank with SP Optimus and his G1. We've got Cosmos with his G1 and with Top Shot. We've got Metal Hawk, Flak and his G1. So nothing, Chromia, 5-star Flak and Primer, which is a general setup. So you can see there, it's an average setup. I wouldn't say it's like perfect setup. I wouldn't say it's awful though. It's not like I've sort of made it so it's sort of designed not to work, but I've done a general setup you might see in, I don't know, maybe Cyber, maybe. So we've got Beachcomber in this outpost here, and we're gonna just drop our bots and we're gonna see how well they perform. See there, so we've got a couple of defenses hitting our bots. We've obviously got Beachcomber in the outpost. We've got beam laser there hitting, and we've got plasma cannon. You can see Beachcomber there. Beachcomber still at half health. Now that's what you're generally seeing every time a lower level player comes up against Beachcomber. Now, is that balanced? No, I don't believe it is, and hence why there's a lot of talk for Nerf, so that he can literally take out a whole team on his own. But an interesting little theory to take him out. So we've got Chromia, we've got Flak. What we're going to do is we're going to take out Flak. We're going to literally load them up with acid and fire. So we've got Nightstick. Next up, Metal Hawk. We're going to put Cosmic Rust Blaster on him. And then we've got Top Shot. And then on Rook, we're going to swap out SP Optimus. And we're going to put in Bash Breaker, adding in more acid. So you can see there, we've literally gone with acid, with Nightstick. We've gone fire with Top Shot. We've gone the Cosmic Rust Blaster, which enhances acid, fire, any element. And we've got more acid with Bash Breaker on Rook as well. So let's give it another go and let's see how that performs. So same again, we pop the outpost. So similar situation. And you can see there, we've actually got Beachcomber 90% of the way down. I don't think the Rook will be able to finish him off. But you can see there, it's a lot more effective with those 3 combats. Adding in acid, adding in fire, adding in the Cosmic Rust Blaster. All those things adding in together helped sort of take Beachcomber out. So the big question there is, but is that balanced? Should we have to change our whole team, our combat and everything just to suit one bot? That is the big question on why, and that's the big question on why we should be nerfing Beachcomber or not. Is because he reflects all that damage back. But it is a more effective way, guys, to take Beachcomber out. So if you are struggling against Beachcomber right now, consider putting the Acid, Fire, and the Cosmic Rust Blaster into your team. Even if it's just the 4-star versions, consider putting them in, and you'll find you take Beachcomber a lot easier. It doesn't become easy, but it becomes easier, guys. So go and give that a try. Go and chase Nightstick, Top Shot. I imagine most people got them being good combats anyway. Go and get the Cosmic Rust Blaster. It is expensive at 7,500 shards per pull, but definitely worth getting. And even if they do nerf or fix Beachcomber, you can see that that combo of putting those together will rip through defenses and still pay dividends even after Beachcomber is fixed or nerf or anything like that. And it's going to work well for your team. So go and give that a try and see how it goes, guys. Let me know in the comments how it works. Yeah, Darklands has put my Fire Acid team does okay against Beachcomber. Yep. And Trax has put, yeah, it was, but why should one OP bot dictate your entire team loadout? Very good point. Like I said, we'll talk a bit about that later, but very, very good point. And Dread's put, you aren't using any abilities. No, I don't want to use abilities because that can be misconstrued. We could also use abilities to hack him, things like that. But I'm just sort of showing that if you change your combats, that can help against him. Chiso's put, I used Dreadwing, followed by Wild Rider. Who's Dreadwing? I can't remember who Dreadwing is. Dreadwing is Metal Hawk, is that right? No? Dreadwing. Oh, great. Steve Pierce put, yeah, he's OP, but now I finally have him at a decent level because I'm not a whale. I don't get the same benefits others did. Buff bots don't nerf. I do get your point. I do. Oh, Wing Saber. Okay. Yeah, so you remove his shield and then use Wild Rider. Yeah, but you still got that reflect, haven't you? That sort of kills your bots, so it's not good. Yeah, Trax put it there. Use one ability on Beachcomber and it literally takes half the health of any gunner off. That's why I've seen people say, yeah, just snipe him with small screen. I'm like, nah, not a good idea. Not good at all. So yeah. Okay, cool. Let's jump straight ahead. But as again, if you want any questions, stick them in the chat. But we're going to do some ratings now. Wrong screen. Let's try again. Cool. Here we go. There we go. Might have to make my camera a bit smaller, I think. There we go. Cool. So, carrying on from our recent videos of warriors being rated, gunners being rated, air class being rated, we've now got on to special class being rated. It's actually the biggest class in the game, so it's going to be a huge rating video. So be sure to check part 1 and part 2. Get out, guys. So let's kick it off with the game's favourite character, Optimus Prime. So he's one of those bots that's never actually been fully working properly as he should. Always been slightly broken, but it's not him that's broken. The problem is that when he rushes, bots that have passives, things like that, animations, don't tend to follow him very well. It's going to be very hard to fix him. But it's been a long sort of standing bug, which is a shame on the sort of the game's main character. But it can be useful in a lot of situations. You still see him in top level wars because if your team's walking away wayward, it will pull most of the bots in. Sometimes all of them, sometimes not, but it will pull a big chunk. So it depends what you're trying to do with him. If you're trying to rush around a base and skip half of it, it can cause so many problems. I wouldn't advise it. If you want him in your team, so that if you're running out of time and the HQ is just within reach, but it's only got 2 bots hitting the HQ, and you want to drag them all to HQ and finish it off, Optimus Prime is a great bot for that. If your bots are splitting on a walk, you want to drag them back in again, he's a great bot for that. So it depends if you use him in a walk or use him to rush. Use him to rush, not so good. If you're using him in a walk, he's actually pretty decent. So I'm going to put him in B because he is quite buggy. He is a half decent bot, but he has his uses, but they're not in other ways as well. He also doesn't have any sort of shield or anything like that. So he doesn't really survive very well in the game at top levels. So we'll put him as B, which is a shame because then it's Optimus Prime. Next up we have Beast Wars Prowl. So not a very good bot, if I'm honest with you. When he came out, he was very average. I remember saying this in playtests, saying that he wasn't very good. Some of the playtesters offered to give him some little buffs, damage against walls, things like that. I was like, it's not good enough, sadly. And so he does okay damage. I can imagine him being quite alright at lower levels. But I wouldn't say he's useless, but I would put him at C. Next up, quite a fan favourite is Cup. Now, Cup, absolutely vital backdoor attacks. Really, really good bot. If they do go down the route of nerfing Ruination and we have to Golden Lagoon again, he is the bot for it. Now, sadly though, outside of that, he's pretty useless in the game. You can do a bit of Zen farming, things like that. But if you're doing a walk, you're not going to take Cup. If you're doing a Russian smash, you're not going to take Cup. So he can be absolutely amazing when it comes to backdoors. Can be good in leveling. Outside of that, not so good. So I'm going to put him in A tier because he just has some really good uses. Next, we have Beachcomber. Now, granted, we're doing this for any kind of fix on Beachcomber, but I even feel like after they've fixed Beachcomber, I still think that he'll be S tier even after the fix because he's absolutely stratospheric right now. Absolutely unbelievable. Even good on attack. When I was reviewing this bot, I was saying, yeah, he'd be really good on defense, not so good on offense. They brought other combats out to improve him even better. Brought a G1 core out, made him even better. And his stats just went through the roof. And he's actually the bot to get in Outpost right now. And I even feel like after he's fixed, I still sort of feel like it'd probably still be S tier even then. Next up, we've got Star Saber. So Star Saber came out to much praise. Was a very good bot. Quite expensive though, but did amazing around HQ 15, 16 days. And then slowly but surely, as HP on defense has increased, started going a bit backwards. And they did bring out a specific combat for him, specific core for him, but it didn't really hit the nail on the head. Very good at lower levels where the HP is low, so when it goes back to the HQ 16 days, when the lower leagues have lower HP because of the debuffs for lower leagues in Wars, he is still really, really good. But once you get to higher levels, you find him far too expensive and doesn't really do much for the cost that he costs to use. And so for me, I'm going to put him in C tier. Next up, we've got Slash. Slash is a bit of an interesting one. So front-loaded bases, I can imagine her being very, very good, along with Drift. We're seeing them being used a lot more. But the problem with Slash is those Flare Mines, which absolutely annihilate her. She can be good for leveling, some pathing issues. She did have a buff where she got a damage buff and she got a range increase, which made her a bit better. I don't think she's bad enough to go in C. I would say B. She has some really good uses, but you just find that she doesn't really fit in any team, really. She's just sort of a standalone bot that can be good. And with the increase in HP for HU18, she's really struggled against the shield generator and against the HQ core, which increases the resistance on the HQ against abilities. So she really struggles against HQ18, but still a decent bot. Next up, we've got Hound Vamp, and he's one of those bots that when you look on paper, you think he sounds really good, but doesn't really hit with the glass gas and the damage, and never really found any sort of meta where he fits in. Granted, he doesn't have a 5-star version, so maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe that's the reason he's so poor, though, that he's never actually been looked at and been overlooked. So for me, it's going to be in Yeah, I think D-tier. Not a very good bot at all. Next, we've got Blur. Blur was a very good sack bot for a time. You see him less and less and less now, so I think he'd be still decent for Zen farming, but not used as much. Still half decent bot though. So for me, B is sort of those bots that are half decent, but don't really have a real place in the game, or a buggy, or you don't see as much in World, but have a use somewhere. So B for Blur. Next, we have Alpha Trion. Now, when Alpha Trion came out, I literally said that I didn't rate him, didn't like him. I didn't like the fact that it gave a short buff to everyone. Because for me, when you use Alpha Trion, you've got 10 seconds. And so you're trying to use the air bots to try and do damage very quickly because you've only got 10 seconds. And then you're trying to use your warriors got more protection and then 10 seconds, and 10 seconds is a really short window to use all these abilities, and so it's kind of chaos trying to use Alpha Trion to improve everything. Granted, in a war team it'll give you a speed up, but we've got Wheeljack can do that, so why do you need Alpha Trion? So I kind of feel like he's in sort of C tier where he doesn't really do much that well. He's okay but not great. Next up, we've got Sentius Magnus. Bit of a hard one, this, because he can be really powerful in lower leagues. Higher leagues, not so much. Obviously, has his own core now, which increases the ability damage. And so, yeah, you get a bit out of him. But I just feel like he's not quite there yet. And so I'm going to put him in B tier. Decent amount of damage, but that's about it, really. Next we've got Elite 1. Elite 1 kind of making a bit of a comeback. People are finding that sacking base with Elite 1 with a G1 core makes her invulnerable for a while, and so she can hit Billbot, she can pop outposts and survive it, and then jump again. And so I'm gonna actually put Elite 1 in A tier. Like I said, coming back into wars, doing well for sack teams. She's also good for leveling, also good for Zen farming, has quite a few uses. Making a bit of a comeback in the game. Next, we have Chromia. Chromia, I would probably put in around B tier. Quite pesky in outposts for lower players. Massively utilised for lower players like HU 17, 16. But since she was brought out in the 5-star batch, she's actually gone backwards and gotten a lot worse. Not used on offense at all. And I was hoping when she was brought out in the 5-star batch, I was hoping that she would be brought back to life on offense. But sadly, not. If anything, she's got worse. They've taken her stun gun off her. And so sadly, she's going to go into D tier. She's dropped down quite incredibly. Next, we've got Grapple. So Grapple, he was kind of designed to try and be an alternative to Rock, but with special bots. But he never actually sort of hit them heights, because I sort of said in testing that if he's a frontline bot, then you need him to have really good HP. But I kind of get they were going down the special route rather than the warrior route, so I kind of got that. But I said if we're going to have the mine, it needs to be a lot more damage. And again, didn't really hit them heights. Although he's half decent, the mine's alright, I kind of feel like he's kind of C tier. Next we have Rhinox. Rhinox is half decent, does decent damage, does a lot of healing. His G1 core that reinvigorate his vines are very good. So quite a good bot. Even good on defense, because what happens on defense is once he uses ability, his vines come out, and then when he drops below, I think it's 50%. I find that his vines come out again. His ability to get 2 used to that ability. Any bot sort of does that in an outpost gets a thumbs up from me. I love that. You get 2 uses out of him, or a vector, anything like that. Anything that sort of gets more uses out of them rather than just using one ability out of an outpost. It's just something a bit different, something to work around. So for me, I think Rhinox goes into B tier. I think it's a safe place to put him. Next we have Snarl. Snarl doesn't have any kind of shield, lacks any kind of real damage, runs off because he's quite fast. And so Snarl is pretty awful and goes straight into D tier. Next, we have Scatter Shot. So we have to take consideration that Scatter Shot shoots acid, which automatically makes him pretty good, but not amazing. But the fact it's a special bot means he gets up close and personal a bit too much than other bots that have acid effects like Skids. So he does get into trouble. His acid damage is half decent. He's better at lower leagues than he's at higher leagues. You won't really see him in any high level war team, but you may see him in some lower level ones. And a lot of lower level players sort of look at some of these ratings sometimes and go, I can't believe you've rated him so low. But that's because he can actually take out defenses in lower leagues, but not in higher leagues. Obviously, that acid is vital as well. So for me, I'm going to put him in B tier with a proviso that if that was in a higher league, it'd probably be in C. But in general, he's pretty decent at low levels. So I think if you're a lower level player, I think he's a good bot to level. But once you get to the high levels of the game, I think he kind of struggles a bit. Next, we've got Vector Prime. When Vector Prime came out, I was quite disillusioned with him. Thought his hollows lacked any kind of punch, really, any kind of use. Didn't like him at all. He was sold as like an outpost popper, but again, never really beat Rook, who's really, really old content. And so for me, has very little use, and for me, Vector Prime goes straight into D tier. Next, we've got Afterbreaker. Afterbreaker, bit of a hard one because when it comes to sack, he is extremely good. Extremely good. Outside of that, not much really. There's not many uses for Afterbreaker outside of a sack, but he is one of the best bots in the game for sack. So again, I'm going to put him in B tier because I think that if you're a sack player, he might even go in. He might go to A. He may even go to S tier for a sack player. But I think that if you're not a sack player, you could easily go into D tier as well. And so I'm going to put him in B with a proviso that he can be really useful against some defenses and some base layouts, but not others, and you wouldn't bother. So if you are going to sort of level him, then just keep that in mind, that he doesn't suit every single base. And so if you're going to invest in him, then he's not a every single war team kind of bot. Next up, we have Roadbuster. Roadbuster, interesting one. Good, obviously, against the shield gen. Good at taking MDS out that are standalone, things like that. Quite expensive, though. I feel like, I'm pretty sure last year he would have been put in S tier when the shield gen was a massive problem, when the MDS was a massive problem. But we've found new ways to take out the shield gen now that are a lot cheaper. And so I don't feel like he's A tier, S tier anymore. Is he A tier? Yeah, I'd say just about A tier. He's not quite. He's above B tier, to be fair to him. He's still A tier. He's still good. I can imagine lower level players turning to him to take out key defenses. He's still a decent bot. So we'll stick him in A tier. Next up, we've got Nor. I think I put Nor in S tier many, many years ago. But he's not improved since. He's never really progressed. He's kind of got stuck where he is as an average bot now. His minions die very quickly. They haven't really raised in HP. Even when he got to level 70, they do a lot of damage, but the HP has sort of ruined the Sharks. We talked about Blaster versus Nor. I think it was last year, and I said how even Blaster was sort of struggling at the time. And the HP of his minions, which are massively more than Nor's, and so Blaster will automatically, probably be rated higher than Nor. So for me, Nor goes into C tier. That his Sharks can do a decent amount of damage at lower levels, maybe in certain teams, but I think that's as high as he goes, really. Next up, we've got Optimus. Very, very good bot. Absolutely amazing. Into S tier. Does a lot of damage in a huge area, especially at ability 11. Granted, it's fire damage. You've got the anti-fire cores, which are massively in the meta at the minute. But it doesn't matter. It's still a really, really good bot. Take out those build bots and you can do a huge amount of damage in a great area. And that is it for part 1, guys. So if you enjoyed this video, check out part 2. Come back for the next video and check it out. But obviously, for you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to carry it on. Cool. So here we have part 2 of Special Bots Rated. So we obviously did part 1. If you've not seen that yet, go and check that out. We give a description of all the bots and why we've rated them, how they are. But we're going to carry on again. We're going to carry on with Cheeto. So Cheeto back in the HQ 16 days was absolutely immense. Was my go-to bot. Absolutely loved him as a cleanup bot. But since the increase in HP, he's really struggled to kind of make any impact in the game. Very similar to Beast Wars. Beast Wars Cheetah? Did sound right? No, it's not Beast Wars Cheetah. Oh my god, I forgot his name. Hang on a second. I've gone blank. I hate when I do this because it looks like such a noob. Beast Wars Prowl, what a noob. Very similar to Beast Wars Prowl, and so he's going into C tier with Beast Wars Prowl as well. Next, we've got Brawn. I was super excited when Brawn came out. Thought it'd be really cool to have a bot that's really cheap, that can take out defenses that are under any kind of stun. But I think the problem is that we don't have many bots that have a long range AoE stun. We have single target stun for quite a few, and then the bots that can do an AoE stun generally have a short range or generally are really expensive. And so there's not many long range AoE electric bots in the game that can combo with Brawn. Once that happens, I feel like he'll go up to like A or S tier. It'd actually be an amazing bot. But because of that, there's no one to really combo him with. So it kind of goes into B. That he can take out some long range defenses, got great range, he's got everything going for him. He's cheap, but there's just no one quite to pair with. And I feel like he's missing a partner. You know, we talk about backdoors with Cup and Springer and being sort of, you know, a match made in heaven and you have to use them together. And I feel Braun doesn't have that partner yet. Next up, we have SG Goldbug. And even when it came out, I said it was pretty awful. Couldn't see anyone using it. High cost. And literally goes into D tier. Really, really poor bot. Granted, it's only a 4-star. Maybe that's influenced me because it doesn't have a 5-star version. Maybe because it hasn't had that 5-star version. Maybe that's why it hasn't had a rework yet. But I just find him pretty useless. Why freeze a lot of defenses when you can just take them out with Warpath for a similar cost? Next, we've got Red Alert. Red Alert, good on offense, good on defense. Shielding bots. Not used in Outpost as much anymore as he once was. Not used on offense as much anymore as he once was. FFD kind of killed him off a bit. But he still has a really good place in the game. I don't think it's as high as he used to be. But slots straight into B tier. Next, we've got Wimbley. Wimbley, one of the really, really old bots. Maybe original bot, but a long, long time ago at least. Obviously in batch 2, so quite a while ago. Could be used as a sack bot. It's an okay effect, but obviously she gets caught in a mine. She's pretty much dead and buried and doesn't have high HP really. But yeah, not many uses in the game and kind of goes into C tier, which is quite average. Next, we've got Orion Pax. I wasn't a fan of Orion Pax in testing. Wasn't a fan when he came out. The healing turrets just don't seem to pack any kind of punch. Don't heal enough. And for me, goes straight into D tier, being really, really poor. Next, we've got Rodimus Prime. It was good in the Rush and Smash team, but as we talked about Optimus Prime's Rush being quite inconsistent, he kind of fell away from that as soon as that sort of died a death. New base designs are getting a lot more clever, trying to stop against people rushing round, so sort of limits his use. And so Rodimus Prime sadly goes into D tier. He was very specific in a certain team, and he's even lost that now as well. Next up, we've got Blaster, and we talked about Norm in the previous video and how Norm was not as good as Blaster. Blaster's minions really struggled to maintain their HP, obviously with the new defenses, the amount of damage that the MDS does, defenses like that. And obviously we said how Nor struggles with low HP. So I would put Blaster just one place above Nor in B tier. He has a good use in lower leagues, I think, absolutely immense. But again, once you get to higher levels of the game, then you're really going to struggle to keep them minions alive. Next up, we've got Optimal Optimus. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. No, ignore that. Next up, we've got Optimal Primal. Optimus Primal? Optimus Primal? Optimal Primal? Optimus Primal. Next up, we've got Optimus Primal. Oh, we put the camera on. Hang on. Stop that. Stop that. Oh. Forgot again. Did this last week. But now I've got a better charge, which makes it charge, so it's going to stay on. Sorry. Next up, we've got Optimus Optimal. So, never been a good bot. Never been in the meta. Jumps ahead. Dies. D tier. Enough said. Next up, we've got Leo Prime. I think we all know Leo Prime. He would go above S tier if he could. Stratospheric. Up in the clouds. There's no U for unbelievable. But if there was, he would go in it. And hence why a lot of calls for him to be nerfed and fixed, or whatever you want to call it. But absolutely immense amount of damage. And hence why, if anyone says to me, what bot should I go for? That is the bot to go for. That is the bot I tell people. Absolutely immense bot. But again, I took a conversation for him to get nerfed maybe because of the amount of damage that he actually does. Next up, we've got Rustus. So Rustus had a buff a couple of years ago when Skids came out, and the idea again was that her and Skids were a match made in heaven, but the ranges didn't quite match. She ran ahead, Skids stayed back because Skids is a gunner and can equip more range combats. She went up ahead and died a lot faster, and so she doesn't have that same sort of appeal that Skids have, and doesn't actually really match up that well with Skids either. And so she does decent damage for what she is, but I'm going to put her in C tier, only for the amount of damage that she does with the ability. Outside of that, she'd probably go in D tier. Next up, we've got Taz Kid. Pretty awful. Had a buff to go in the batch. Weren't buffed enough. Was pretty woeful. And I didn't realise this. In testing, said it was awful. He came out bugged and was doing double the damage. I didn't even know that. And so when he got put in the batch, that was fixed. And everyone sort of complained saying, listen, he wasn't OP. You should put him back to what he was. I can't comment on whether that was balanced or not. But I feel like right now he's gone back the other way again. And I feel like it could have been somewhere in the middle between what he was when they put him in test or finished test and what he was when he came out into the live server. I feel like somewhere in the middle we should have compromised. But yeah, sadly, I feel like Taz Kid is going to go into C tier. It does okay damage, but I didn't like his ability. I didn't like the fact that it kind of overlaps and you have to time it. Not a big fan. Next we have Perceptor. Perceptor had his day where he was hacking defenses. I feel like maybe there could be a use for him in the current meta with lack of hack cores. He could be pretty good, but quite expensive to use. But yeah, good effect, but I still feel like he's probably in C tier. And I feel like that might be quite generous because he's hardly used anymore, especially at higher levels of the game. But I do like the fact that he does hack, and I feel like he has got a good place in a minute with the lack of anti-hack core, so you never know. Next I've got Top Spin. Top Spin was quite good for a while. Took out some key defenses like the MDS, thing like that, and I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it's because of how expensive he is. But kind of dropped down the usage rates, dropped down seeing him in wars at all. Maybe just because there was better bots out there. I don't know. But he does decent damage still, so I'm kind of going to put him in B tier because I feel like, yeah, he does okay damage. It's an okay bot. Yeah, we don't see that much anymore, but I still feel like he has a decent use. Next up, we've got Ultra Magnus. So this is going to be a difficult one because right now it's pretty awful, but I know that he's going to get a legacy rework soon, and I'm hoping that will push him up the ranks. From what I've heard, it's quite promising, but right now, inconsistent damage, not very good range. He lacks any sort of shield as a frontline tank, so Ultra Magnus kind of goes into D tier, sadly. Next up, we've got Laser Optimus. Laser Optimus, quite a good bot, good opening bot, does quite a lot of damage. But again, when we talk about special bots compared to warriors, they lack any kind of HP, any kind of survivability. And so I kind of think he's alright. I think he kind of goes into B tier as a pretty good bot. I think that low level players will look at that and go, that's kind of unjust, he should be higher. And I think you'll look at higher players and they go, well, yeah, that's probably where he should be, maybe even lower because I don't use him anymore. So I kind of think it should be somewhere in the middle there, like I said. Maybe higher for lower level players, maybe a bit lower for high level players. Good in an outpost, very good in an outpost still. So yeah, I think B is just maybe creeping into A, but I think B is where he'll stay. Next up, we have Huffer. So Huffer was made a legacy bot. I went from being very, very poor to being half decent. He's not hit the heights of hitting a war team yet. He's not quite there yet. And I think people are a bit frustrated by that when he was made into a legacy bot. And I think they believed that he would be made into a war bot. But that was never the case. And then when obviously he was put in the batch, people sort of said the same again. I think they thought he would get buffed to be a war bot and never really was. And so Huffer's going to go in C tier, doesn't quite do enough healing, doesn't quite do enough damage, lacks any sort of protection or any kind of shielding. And he's okay. He's okay. He's a squad filler. Next up, we've got Hoist. Hoist, really good healer. I haven't pulled him yet on my live account, but I do consider pulling him because so many people say how good he is of a bot. I'm not using him personally, but I do see a lot of people raving about him, saying how good he is. And so I'm going to put him literally into A tier because I do see a lot of use in him. When you look at his stats and the amount of healing he does, it's actually quite impressive. It's almost like having Minerva, but obviously having a bot that attacks rather than just healing. So if you want an alternative for Minerva, but more DPS in your team, then Hoist is definitely an example of how you can do that in your team, and massively underrated for me, and a really, really good bot. Next up, we've got Punch. Punch was an interesting concept, how he goes undercover and goes invisible, under stealth and hacks, and I feel like all that together kind of works very well, but I feel like the cost and repeat cost was just too much for him, and he never actually got that use out of him. I think the 8s were quite cautious because he had stealth and was invisible, and because he had a hack and had quite good DPS, because he had all these things. On paper, when you look at it, he sounds absolutely immense. But when you actually use him in a war, it doesn't work for long enough, and like I said, it's too expensive, so you don't get many uses out of it. So I understand them being cautious with it. I understand that. But we talk about, you know, not just looking on paper and actually looking at what actually does. And I just feel like they've underestimated him. And so he goes into C tier. Next up, we've got... I'm trying to... Not sure the next bit, but... Let me just... There we go. Next up, we have Hot Rod. Hot Rod was S tier maybe for a while, A tier. Everyone used him in an outpost right next to the MDS, protected the MDS, caused huge amount of problems. But then what we just found was people just started dropping the combiner and just getting routed that way. And people were sort of taking out key defenses and making him then protect a defense that wasn't as important. And people just found nice, easy ways to get around that. Obviously, on offense, he was very good for a while, but then with the FFDs, they went away for a while. FFDs, they come back again. Everyone still uses FFDs because the amount of bots that are really, really good without them. When you look at tracks and you look at Hot Rod, bots like that are absolutely immense when FFDs aren't around. So you generally do see still a couple of FFDs, maybe not the 5 that I used once for quite a while actually. But they are still used, so that sort of negates Hot Rod a bit. So I'm going to put Hot Rod in B tier. He's still very good, still has his uses, just not quite hitting them heights that he used to. I'm trying to show the whole thing, but I'm trying to. It won't go down a bit. Interesting. Where's the scroll bar gone? The scroll bar's gone for the page, which is weird. I'm trying to scroll my mouse, and one scroll does that. Oh well. Next up, we have Impactor. So Impactor, when it came out, was quite impressive. Did a lot of damage, but he had a ceiling that he couldn't go past. The apes realized this and removed that ceiling and thought that that would really improve him, but he never quite got past that ceiling because by the time he's destroyed any defenses and took that damage, the ability would end, and so it never really took full advantage. So for me, Impactor, he's not quite as good as Sentius, so I'd maybe put him in C tier. I feel like might be a bit too. Maybe B tier. I feel like B tier, yeah, because I feel like there's some bots in there that is a lot better than. Does quite a good amount of damage. And not quite bad enough for C tier, but he's not quite as good as Sentius maybe, but yeah, very average bot. Next we have Skyburst. Skyburst is kind of a forgotten bot, really. She was the first sort of Gunner special hybrid, which was a special bot that could equip ranged combats. And so at the time was quite revolutionary. Not so much anymore. Her ability is quite poor, quite inconsistent, large spread. Don't really get used that much. And generally just not very good. And so Skyburst for me goes into D tier and probably needs a bit of an improvement. Next up we have Streetwise. So Streetwise is actually maybe underutilized. I feel like when 5-star Streetwise comes out, we'll see Streetwise all over because he actually has amazing range, and you've got the slowdown, you've got the speed up for your own bots. The main problem with Streetwise is that when you put it in an area, if you want it to speed up your bots, then it only works in a small area around your bots, and so doesn't also slow down defenses because the defenses are usually far away, your bots are normally close to you. Where if you want to slow down the defenses, you can slow them down from far away, but then your bots are close to you, and so you don't get the effect of that. And so I feel like it should be in a wider area rather than having to cast it. I feel like it should be in a wider area when he gets his 5-star version. But I can imagine him being very good and maybe utilize a lot more than people realize, and maybe underestimated, maybe. But I feel like right now it goes into C tier. Maybe because it's got a 4-star version, underutilized, maybe. But I just feel like the balance is not there between speed up and slow down with defenses and bots. And it's almost like using the ability for either rather than both. And lastly, we have Bumblebee. So Bumblebee, I feel like had a great place in the meta. Then fell away from it with the introduction of electric cores, but not because of Bumblebee, but more because of Sea Spray, because he was so OP. And then as the game has progressed and we've got better firebots like Leo Prime and Optimus, people have gone away from electric cores a bit more and gone towards fire cores, and so we've seen Sea Spray making a bit more of a comeback. But because we've seen Sea Spray making a bit more of a comeback, I feel like that means that Bumblebee kind of gets a bit of a comeback. Super cheap, great damage in an area, stuns defenses. What's not to like? The only problem with Bumblebee is obviously his HP. That kind of lets him down. He does run ahead. He does die quite quickly, and I've said all along that if the apes were to bring out a combat like Triceratops that only gets attached to scouts, that gave them more range, they would be onto a winner. They would sell out. It would be absolutely amazing, but that has never happened, sadly. And so scouts automatically, as you can see in the ratings, tend to struggle a bit at the higher levels of the game. And so Bumblebee, I'm going to put him in B tier because he does do a great amount of damage, does do a great area of effect, but just dies a bit quickly for my liking in the higher leagues. And that is every special class bot rated in the game, guys. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my ratings? There's some of them you don't agree with. If you don't agree, put it in the comments. Let me know why you don't agree as well. Not just that you don't agree. Let me know why you don't agree. Do you pair it up with a certain bot? Does it work really well? What league do you even war in? Let me know. So let's have a look what you guys sort of think of my ratings. Oh, and Dale's put something. Dale's put. P.S. You don't have to choose one bot to be buffed. You can submit many. Just need to keep resubmitting the form, and you need to justify why you are buffing it. Should have said that. I think I'm putting 10 farms for for dust up now. Let's have a look. Thanks for joining, Cheeto. Good to see you, buddy. So, Mayan Gil Harry has put Afterbreaker A rank. Yeah, I understand that. If you are a sack player, definitely understand that. Yep, definitely should be. If you're not a sack player though, he's probably C tier. Let's be honest. What are you gonna use Afterbreaker for if it's not for sack? That's a question. Darklands should break specials into subclasses. Yeah, you're probably not wrong, to be fair. Yeah, but I just think it makes it a bit harder. It's a big class. Darklands has put Cup is A level. Yeah, that's what I put. Yeah. Is a HPS healing per second. Oh, Beachcomber, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, Darklands has put electric cores really hurt Star Saver that as well. Yeah. CF Tactics support class used to be far less bits. They merged in leader class, scout into special class. Yeah, there was a scout class kind of thing back in the day. There was sort of scouts, but they're not anymore. Darklands has put unpredictable hollows are the main issue with Blur. Yeah. Mayan's put Sensus has a G1 core. No, sorry, not a G1 core. He has his own combat. I should have said combat rather than core. But he has his own combat, sorry. Yeah. Darklands got Scattershot on my Acid Fire team, yeah. Freeze is fuming that I put Vector Prime so low. I just don't rate him, brother. I really don't rate him at all, honestly. Yeah, really poor. Darklands has put Robots are still running in my main team. I use them sometimes, depending what I'm trying to do. Usually if the shield gen is close to the launch pad, I can take it out right from the get-go. But I'm just worried about Robuster dying on the walk to the shield gen, depending on what the base is like. I don't use him in a walk team, it just dies. My angle Harry's put North to be C tier at least. So yeah, C tier, yeah. D tier for no, Darklands support. I think that's a bit harsh putting D tier for no. It's still got good damage. So again, sometimes you've got to look at lower level league as well, how useful he is. So any bot that kind of does high damage will automatically get a higher rating for lower level players because they do obviously amazing damage and can take out some really good defenses. So especially the AoE, you know what? No, it's not AoE, but you know, it can sort of take out quite a few defenses. Darklands has put Brawn has to be paired with another bot. I know what bot? You can start pairing with Air Raid, but it doesn't have the best range like Air Raid does, and so a Jet kind of suits more. But again, it's cheaper. But again, Brawn gets in kind of trouble like Bumblebee, and that's why he's not sort of rated a bit higher. Yeah, Darklands has put Leo and Optimus own even with Fire Dome in use. It's funny that the top 3 bots that are in S tier are probably 3 of the bots that they're looking at maybe nerfing. Darklands has put his range works perfectly with Air Raid. I think you mean Brawn, but I don't think so. I think his range is a bit shorter than Air Raid, so I'm not a big fan. His pathing's not the best either. Yeah, Skylinks and obviously Topspin work together, but it's not very cost efficient. D tier for the kid. What did I put the kid in? Yeah, he does quite a lot of damage though. When you run his numbers, it's actually quite good. His numbers, but I'm not a fan. Perceptors on raid team, yeah, very good on raid. Didn't mention that, was true. Yeah, and also Phil's put a Titan Tech Tree, kill Perceptor, true. Mine and Gil Harris put I use Perceptor with Grimlock. They both have SA11, do great together. Yeah, I suppose you could hack it and then rush him in, yeah. Juan Bernal, sorry, I don't speak Spanish, I presume. Sorry. Ultra Magnus D tier, Galvatron B tier. Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah. Hover C tier, yeah. Berserk's put it's sorry, it should just stick around, keep the new invincible for 15 seconds. Yeah, but I think you'd have to increase the cost of it if you did that, if they were like permanent. Last prize, but I don't like Hoist for Wars. I use it mostly for Rage with the right Cronus. Yeah. Darkness put Rodimus in D tier? Yeah, it's pretty awful. Justin Brilliant's put I've seen Rodimus and Hoist and other in a good team win in Prime League Hard Mode. Yeah, let me know if you've seen the videos, let me know. Skyburst, D tier, yeah. Streetwise should have a bubble range like Trail Break. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you should have a big bubble range. That's exactly what you should do. But it should be bigger than Trail Breakers even. But I agree, it should be. It shouldn't be a casting. It should be a range. And that'd be pretty good. Dance has put in multiple forms is time consuming. Yeah, fair point, yeah. Also, what Phil's put, it's a little sad that the class called Special only has 3 bots that belong in the top tier. Yeah, true. Yeah. Blade 19's put, I'm just looking at all the primes and where they end up, very sad. It's a good point, actually, yeah. You've also got Vector Prime down here, you got Orion Pax down here, Rodimus down here, Monkey Prime, Ultra Magnus even down there. That's a fair point. It's a very good point. Alpha Trion down there. Laser Optimus down there. Hot Rod down there. It's a good point, actually. It's only a Leo Prime and Optimus Optimus at a higher level like the Primes. Yeah, good point. Cuddy Fox, I think it should separate the Scouts and Specials. Also add a couple more to the Scout class. Yeah, Taz was added. I think Taz was a Scout. I think maybe was it. I don't know. Do you classify Chromie as a Scout now because she loses a stun gun? I don't know. It's sort of some hybrids now. So the Scout class isn't the Scout class anymore. But I suppose they do equip Tri-Sever Shot. So does Taz Kid, can he equip Tri-Sever Shot? Tri-Sever Shot. Let's say that again. Tri-Sever Shot. Let's have a look. I don't think it does because he's. No, he can't. Make sure. No, he can't have Tri-Sever Shot. So no, he's not a Scout per se. He's the size of a Scout, but he ain't a Scout. Yeah, Dartons has put Robust doesn't get dropped right away anymore because he's walking off. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not a fan of having time ability to get max damage that is needed for Taz Kid. Yeah, me too. You haven't got time. Ain't nobody got time for that. You haven't got time to sort of watch the timer and sort of judge when to use it, really. I don't like abilities like that because obviously you've got to kind of count the seconds. So I said it should have a sort of timer on it. I think Dale was looking into it maybe, having a timer, but nothing as of yet. So yeah. Yeah, Dance has put Cliff Jumper as a Scout and a Gunner. Yeah, there is crossovers like that, so yeah. Cuddy Fox has put, if SA cannot do bots good with time abilities, do bots good with time, I am scared what they will do with Heinrad if he gets added to the game. I don't know what you mean by that. Time abilities. You mean like slow down and speed up, you mean? I don't know. Yeah, but who's to say? Let's do that so people can screenshot if needs be. You can see there. That's the whole tier list. Yeah, cool. Cool. Let's go on to the next subject again. Back to the game. Let's change the view. There we go. Cool. So I wanted to try and talk about the next 5-star batch. Now, I know that the current 5-star batch has not been out very long, which I'm going to go to it for. Now, I have some serious issues with this batch, and if I'm deadly honest, going through the batch, I don't want to do a big review, but just I'm going to go through that. Cosmos, I feel like, is an average bot. He's alright. He's nothing special. I feel like Lightspeed is half decent. Some people tell me he's very good. I'm personally not the biggest fan. He's alright. But people tell me it's really, really good. So, okay, I'll give the apes that one. Done a good job with Lightspeed. Metal Hawk, again, people tell me he's very, very good. I haven't really used him. I've not had the 5-star version. So, we'll give him that one. Obviously, Tasmanian Kid, I feel like, is a bit of a failure. He was a failure when he came out. He wasn't balanced after that. And it's pretty quite poor. And then we come to Chromie, which is actually a travesty. Chromie went from being a very good bot when she came out. People learning to cope with her. People learning how to counter her. I understand the need to take away a stun gun, so it wasn't a permanent stun. I kind of get that. It was frustrating for people leveling because once you got into that state of soloing a base with Chromie on it, you literally couldn't. You either don't pop the outpost or you die. So I kind of understand taking the stun gun away. But they absolutely destroyed her when they did that. And it didn't improve the shock tower, made the shock tower worse. And so I understand people getting frustrated with it, but they went completely the other way and sort of killed her. And so when we look at this batch, for the bots anyway, there's nothing that stands out. And we can talk about the cons and say, yeah, but there's so much of people for the cons because they're all combiner bots. But we're not taking these as combiner bots. We're talking them as standalone bots that people want to use and go and take into wars, take into events, and go and use. And so for me, it's quite a poor batch. But this sort of comes from the balance of the bots. So when Cosmos was made as an endurance bot, again, he wasn't... Sorry, as a legacy bot. When Cosmos was made as a legacy bot, he was not designed to be a war bot. And I think that's a fundamental problem with it. Then we got to Lightspeed. When Lightspeed was made as a legacy bot, he wasn't designed as a war bot. Granted, some people put him in outpost, but he wasn't designed to be war worthy. Metal Hawk, half decent, fair enough. Tasmanian Kid, pretty woeful. Chromia, destroyed. So quite a poor batch, and hence why I went for Lightspeed during the legacy event, but I'm not pulled for the rest of the batch for that reason. And so looking forward to the next batch and sort of looking at what bots we're going to get in the batch. So we start off with Orion Pax. Now you've just seen my ratings video. Orion Pax was literally in D tier, right down the bottom. Then we've got Vector Prime. Guess what? Vector Prime was in D tier as well. And I know you could say, oh, well, maybe the 8s will buff them and improve them. We thought that about Tasmanian Kid. We thought that about Chromia. We thought that about Cosmos. We thought that about Lightspeed. It never really happened. Nothing really got improved. And so my faith that the next batch is going to get really buffed, I don't really have that faith. And so with Orion Pax and Vector Prime in there, I'm kind of worried already. But the good news is that from what I can gather, I feel like there's some good bots coming over the horizon. We're currently having a look at Powerglide as a legacy bot. Powerglide is interesting. it could be really, really good. With the initial design, the playtesters were really happy. The apes or the Yodos weren't exactly happy, and the playtesters now are fighting to get that original design back. Some of the playtesters weren't happy because we sort of stayed away from what Powerglide was, but no doubt the new design was not as good as the old design, but the old design was very, very good and better than Powerglide's old design, but still better than what the apes wanted it to change to. So we're in a bit of a discussion there as well. We've also got Trailbreaker coming. Excuse me. Oh. Oof. Try again. We've also got Trailbreaker coming soon. I think he will come out to complete Skyrim. He could be a legacy bot. We've also got Streetwise coming soon, who can complete Defensor. And we spoke earlier about how some small changes would make it really, really good. And I think that's an easy change that can be made. And then we've got Ultra Magnus on the horizon as well, who's being looked at as being improved for the legacy. So I feel like a lot of this batch is depending on the next 1 or 2 legacy bots. That would determine whether it's a good batch or not. We've already spoke about Cup or tracks coming to the game. Whether it's going to make the next 5-star batch or the one after that is a big question. But I feel like there's some good bots on the horizon. And I feel like if we can actually make some good endurance bots for the next 6 to 9 months, and some good legacy bots for the next 6 to 9 months, we could have a really good 5-star batch this time round. But we also need to look at Orion Pax and Vector Prime, who are in that batch, and it comes from that sort of period where they made some quite awful content, if I'm perfectly honest. So, look forward to the next batch. What do you guys think? Are you confident the apes can pull out the bag? If we had Powerglide, Streetwise, Ultra Magnus, Orion Pax, and Vector Prime in that batch, Trailbreaker maybe. If you had them bots, would you pull for it? Would you chance it with the 2 awful bots being there, some maybe really good ones? Are you confident the apes can pull out the bag and make some really good legacy bots for this batch? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of this next batch if it comes out. Yeah, Blade 19's put the new 5-star batch is rubbish. The only good thing about it is combiner pieces for cons, yeah. Darklands, will we actually get a player vote on the next batch? I don't think we will because of the amount of controversy it causes. I know. Berserk's put skip this batch, same for the next one. Yeah, sadly what I'm doing as well. Yeah, Darklands has put Lightspeed, the only chase for comp, Felbat and Iron Bison for the cons. There's 3, isn't there? There's Mind Wipe as well. Mind Wipe's combined. So Mind Wipe, Felbat, Iron Bison. Is that it? Yeah, I think there's 3 in there. Yeah, for cons, yeah. Darklands put all bots should have a design for wars. I agree. I agree. Berserk's put Skywalk for the next batch. I think Skywalk will come eventually in a batch, but I don't think quite yet. I think there's too many to come out. Punch and Counterpunch are due too. They're not due. They can be, but they're not due, I don't think, no. Carnage Mac, alright. Oh, Galvatron, remember already in the old batch. Oh, good point, yeah. Yes, they won't be in the new batch, Ultra Magnus. Yeah, very good point. That's a new one, isn't it? Yeah, good point. Very good point. Yeah, so no, you're looking at Trailbreaker, Powerglide, Streetwise, Vector Prime, Iron Pax. Yeah, maybe Tracks, maybe Cup. No, I think if they put Tracks or Cup in there, people go to that automatically to try and get them. But yeah, Blade 19's put, but they always said legacy bots are not going to be war bots. You don't know. Maybe in the future that will change. Hopefully. But yeah, cool. Okay, last up. So obviously the massive talking point on everyone's lips in every chat is what bots are going to be nerfed. There's talk around Beachcomber. It has been sort of insinuated by some of the apes and some of the chats. There's talk of Beachcomber. There's talk of Optimal Optimus to a degree. There's talk of even Blue Streak. There's talk of Leo Prime. There's talk of quite a few bots, but I think that the main ones that I think we are to be concerned about is Beachcomber, Leo Prime, and Ruination. Now, I think the easy one for me is Leo Prime. I think Leo Prime does a massive amount of damage, and I think we've got two options. I think we can either tune down the damage or increase his cost. And I think that will literally be it. I don't think the range is. I think the range maybe just need decreasing a bit. Nothing too crazy. But when you can sort of take half the base out from halfway down the map, then it becomes an issue. So I feel like Leo Prime is definitely going to get a nerf. I think like a 20k damage in area is just silly. And even with the fireproof dome core, it doesn't do much to protect your base against him. So I feel like Leo Prime is probably just. I feel like Beachcomber just needs to get rid of the reflect. I don't mind that it's hard to kill. That's not my issue. My issue is that it takes health off your other bots. Now, if Beachcomber was hard to kill and then the other bots around are killing your bots and the defenses are, I don't mind that as much. My issue is I've had times where there's been Beachcomber and I might have lost a couple of bots. There might be 6 bots left over to be realistic. I don't want to say, oh yeah, 14 was pounding on Beachcomber, exaggerate, but it literally was 5 or 6 bots. There was the HQ, there was a couple of defenses, there was Beachcomber left. And literally one by one, my bots all dropped and died just battling Beachcomber. And that's where the big issue lies. If he had HP through the roof and his health kept coming back, I wouldn't be too concerned, really. It's that reflect. So I feel like all they need to do for Beachcomber is take out the reflect. Keep everything else the same. Keep his HP the same. Keep his health regen the same. Keep everything. Just take the reflect out. Don't let it kill your team. Have your team having to pound on it. Because then you can use abilities to take him out. Or you can, increase your damage of your bots, take him out. You can use abilities to counter him. But the minute people sort of quit to go, oh, there are counters for Beachcomber. Put acid and fire and primer and cosmic rust in your team, but you shouldn't have to do all that for a bot. That's the problem. So I feel like Beachcomber is an easy fix. Just remove the reflect. Done. Keep everything else the same. The hardest one, I think, is Ruination. And the reason it's hard is not that I think there's some easy fixes. I think that his abilities regenerate too quickly compared to other combiners, which means he can sort of spam his abilities. And when I was talking to Dale about it, he sort of said, yeah, well, he is the spam bot. I was like, but why? Do we need a spam bot? So do we just slow down the abilities? I think the fact that they overlap, I don't think is a big issue. I think it makes a good little combo. But my problem is not with what to do with Ruination, is the implications in the game. And so if we nerf Ruination, and Ruination becomes whatever body, whatever combat, or whatever, and Ruination becomes whatever combiner is going to be, how's that going to affect leveling in the game? People have never found it so easy to level bots. We use them in mayhem mode. And so it is a bit doom and gloom on first inspection. But after talking to Dale, he was talking about, yes, changing some of the stats on Ruination, but I think a big part of it was that they're looking to improve the hollows as part of the 5-star ability. Because when they actually designed the 5-star ability, the problem was that the 4-star was so good that they thought we can't give it something good for the 5-star. Actually, they actually did something half good. But you got to look at the hollows, and they do very little damage. And so for me, if they were to claw 4-star Ruination back, but actually improve the 5-star ability of his hollow to do more damage, have more HP, I wouldn't actually be too concerned. Because in high level wars, those hollows are going to die quite quickly. They're not going to last too long. They might actually take a few defenses out. So Ruination himself might take a few defenses less, quite a few if I'm honest with you, but those bots will distract them defenses. They can distract outpost bots, could do a bit more damage, could do a bit more. And then when we're looking into events and we're looking into Mayhem mode especially, the way I would use Ruination is I would take out 99% of the base, 95% of the base, and his hollows would finish that off. Now, if they do decide to do this, where they nerf Ruination and increase the hollows, that would still be effective. And I think that's the key point, is making it so that Ruination in Mayhem mode is still effective, but not as over effective in Wars. I think that's the key part they're looking at, is not leveling. I think they're quite happy with that. I think it makes them money, it makes the game easy to level, it gets people leveling bots and other things. I think it's very, very good in that respect. It's good for the game. It's for Wars. I think that's the big problem is in Wars, is that people are just clearing out a section of the base and killing it, even with the Titan sometimes. Titan, Ruination, one bot. And that's not balanced. Let's be honest, guys. If you're taking out a max HQ with a Titan, a combined with one bot, it's definitely not balanced in the game. And so I feel like that's where they're aiming. So I don't think Blue Streak needs much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a cost increase, repeat use, because if you're using 3 times, it does get a bit silly maybe, but I think that's about it. I don't think he needs much Blue Streak, if I'm honest with you. Ultimate Optimus, is his range too much? Ability 11, he does have a huge range, it is a bit crazy, so whether that gets reduced or not. But the good news is that they are looking at a lot of buffs. Hence why we've done this newsletter. Hence why we're talking about Omega Supreme. Hence why we're even talking about the recent 5-star edition of Volcanicus even getting buffs as well. And then we're looking at the future 5-star combiners. So for me, the playoff is, if they're going to nerf this content, they're going to nerf Ruination, Beachcomber, and Leo Prime. They need to give us alternatives to replace them. And I'm not saying doing 20k damage, that's not feasible. But some of the bots that we've sort of done our ratings videos in, and they're sort of like really low tier, one by one we should be ticking them off and giving them an improvement in some way and really trying to balance the books a bit. And I know they say not every bot could be useful, but not every bot should be OP as well maybe. But there are useless bots and there are OP bots. So I feel like if we're going to have that stance of not every bot can be useful, we need to go against that. If we're going to say that no bot should be OP, then no bot should be useless either. And so we need to look at those useless bots and make them relevant again. The ones that are in the middle have got their place in the game. There's something for them to do, something for them to do well in the gaming, whether it be raids, whether it be resource raids, whether it be for wars. But every bot should have a place in the game for something, and that's what the apes need to look at. And I have said to Dale that when we bring these sort of nerfs out, there should be more buffs than nerfs, because there's a few overpowered things in the game, not many, but there are a lot of poor content in the game that needs improving. And so for me, if they are going to nerf this content, there should be 2x, 3 times as many buffs as there are nerfs. And I feel like this is where this form has come from that we have to fill in for the bots we want to buff, this questionnaire, because they are trying to buff some bots as well, because they don't want to just nerf content, they want to balance the content. And if that is the way they're going with it, I am on board, because content does need balancing. I will agree with that. But if we're going to balance content at the top level of the game and get the overpowered bots down, we also need to balance the bottom end of the game and bring that up as well. Let's do it across the board. Let's not pick and choose just what we balance. Let's balance everything, whether it be defenses, whether it be HQs, whether it be bots at the top level, bots at the bottom level, whether it be Titans. Let's balance it all. And it's one huge task. It's a massive task for Space Ape. But they have really sat there and sort of said, listen, we can do everything we've wanted to now. We've got the people to do it. And yes, they're still sort of moving things and finishing things off. But me personally, I want to see some big change in this game this year. And not just new content, I think it needs it, but also more balance in the game, better content coming out, and also something innovative, something new, and something exciting as well. It's a big task for SpaceX this year. It could be a big year for them to really improve this game, or are we going to see same old SpaceX and fall short? So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think balancing content is good? A lot of other games do it. They do these sort of patches where they buff and nerf content and try and level it out. Is it a bit too little too late? Some of this content's been out for a year or so. Maybe we've left it too long now. People invested in it and we feel a bit unjust. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Oh, and grind time's just coming at the end. Got to clear my bits while I'm here. Carnage Mac alright, but Quake Gears won't be for a while yet. Yeah, you're looking Christmas for Gears or Quake being a 5-star batch. Dance, but on the current base you are showing Lee, it can hit your HQ at the minute. So alright, I've got lots of fire cores. Oh no, I've not finished this base off yet. I need to finish it off, but there's yeah, that should be there, that should be there. Change that over. Electric at the front, acid behind. I've literally just was doing this base when we were setting up. Is there a build back there? Yeah, there is, yeah. Fireproof dome core. Goes at the back there. Electric. You can see it's not finished yet because a lot of it is not quite lined up, right? Yeah, fireproof, and then acid there. I've not finished the design yet. It's still a bit work in progress. I've not done much yet. What did you miss? The whole stream, grind time. Last prize, but if you're using Inferno, the build box don't even hit double digits. Double digits? What do you mean double digits? Don't know what you mean by double digits. Also at Phil's, but I don't honestly think Ruination is OP. It can be counted pretty easily. He is though. Yeah, Cuddy Fox has put 1 Titan, Ruination, Leo Prime, Optimal is enough to destroy a lot of bases. Yeah. Why HU19 coming? Why Nerf bots bring other bots to their level? I just think that they just can't. 20k is still too much. It'll still take out HU19. Is that good? Cuddy Fox has put good luck trying to balance dust up to the rest of the gunners. Well, that's the challenge. Carnage Macarai has put they need to better in the future how they bring out new meta bots and bionas. They can't sell players OP stuff and then nerf it a couple of years later. Kind of agree. I do agree with that. It should be balanced on release, and it's not often that I will really defend the playtesters, but we did. I'm not saying because I was there, it's true, but we balanced Leo Prime alright. I think it should have been better in test, I'm honest with you. It wasn't quite good enough. And then he came out and they realised that he was doing less than what they thought and then buffed him, which is madness, but that's what happened. So yeah. Cool. Right, well, I'm going to sign off, guys. Don't forget to go and check out Freezer's Max that is on straight after me. I'm going to go straight there now. I'm going to watch Freezer's stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Don't forget I stream every Thursday. Don't forget to hit a like on the video before you leave. Don't forget to subscribe. We're here every Thursday going through the latest news, Transformers Earth Wars, doing ratings videos, crystal polls, news, whatever is in the game every Thursday. So come and check it out, guys. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.